is Madeline Sibley, and I will be doing a recommendation report on the safety of self-driving versus regular human driving cars. So, right now, especially in the United States and in the 21st century, cars are almost required for every citizen to even just survive, just to get to work, or even if it's not a necessity, for recreational purposes. A car is almost required to get from point A to point B. Even if you don't want to drive yourself, you could use a service like Uber, but that still requires another driver on the road. And the problem with this is that cars are potentially very dangerous. Over the past 10 years, each year, over 30,000 people are killed in car accidents, and 1.5 to 2 million people are injured in car accidents. So, what can we do about this? What are the solutions we can go about? One solution could be improving public transportation systems, making this more accessible, more readily available to the public. That's not what this report is going to talk about. We're going to talk about the safety of self-driving and human driving cars. Now, we're going to talk more about the safety of preventing an accident in the first place. I realize that electric vehicles are potentially very dangerous in car accidents, that they can potentially be explosive. But this is more going to talk about preventing the car accident in the first place. Now, when it comes to comparing the cars, we are not going to compare the cost of the car. We're not going to compare the social impact, environmental impact, economic impact. We aren't going to talk about the accessibility of cars because of the cost. We're not going to talk about the potentially increased mobility to people with disabilities. We are just going to talk about the safety between the two when it comes to preventing car accidents. So, what are self-driving cars? Self-driving cars are fully autonomous vehicles. Some of them won't even require a steering wheel. The car is in full control of all the decisions made on the road. The driver is not necessary whatsoever to be in the car. The car can drive with no people in it. So, right now, there are no fully autonomous cars available for purchase. We only have level 0 to 2, which is driver support features, no levels 3 to 5, which are autonomous cars. So right now there are a long list of driver assist features available, such as forward collision warning, rear automatic braking, lane departure warning, and these are potentially very helpful and life-saving to people. We'll get more into that later, but that's just currently where the technology is at. Tesla Autopilot, for example, is a level 2 autonomous. Not autonomous, is a level 2 level of autonomy, not that it's autonomous. It keeps the car in the lane for you. It has traffic-aware cruise control, so it's going the speed limit and keeping its distance from the cars around it. And it can do automatic lane changing without you touching a thing. But this is still only a level 2. So, the NTHSA, National Traffic Highway Safety Administration, completed a very large survey from data they collected from 2005 to 2007 of the causes of car accidents. That is where I got a lot of my information from for this report. So, there are obviously multiple reasons that lead up to a car accident, We're going to talk about this example. So, there was in this survey, there was this example. This 22-year-old driver was driving on a wet road, and she was traveling too fast, and she eventually spun out and lost control of her car and eventually crashed. She was okay, but they studied the reasons, the causes leading up to this car accident. So they tell her story. She'd been in an airport for the past 14 hours. She was fatigued traveling. She was in town for her mother's wedding, and her brother was a runaway who had been missing for the past 3 weeks, and then she found out that he was at the police station, and so she went to pick him up. and that's what she was doing. So some of the causes leading up to the car accidents were the emotional factor, the fatigue, the wet roads, the traveling too fast. And those were just some of the reasons that led up to the car accident. Now, the survey talks about a pre-critical reason for all car accidents, and they divide this reason up. There are driver-related critical reasons, environmental-related, vehicle-related. 94% of the critical reason leading up to a car accident is something the driver did. So the final reason before a car accident is the critical reason, and 94% of the time it's because it's something the driver did. 2% is because of the environment, 2% is because of the vehicle, 0% are unknown. So briefly, 2% of the reason it could be the environment is weather conditions, slick roads, view obstruction, stuff like that. Or 2% of the reason being vehicle could be failure in the tires and the brakes and the steering, but we're going to focus more on the driver-related critical reason. So this section can be broken into 4 categories: recognition error, decision error, performance error, and non-performance error. And to explain that, we'll go back for a second. So in this example, the critical reason for the car accident, the example I was talking about of the girl who was going to pick up her brother, the critical reason was a decision error. She was driving too fast for the conditions of the road, and this ultimately led to the car accident. Not to say it was entirely her fault, but this was the final reason that led up to the accident. And then to break down the critical reasons even more, I have this table. It's split up into 2 because it was too large. But decision errors could be, recognition errors could be inadequate surveillance. The driver did not properly assess their surroundings. There was distractions and, things of that nature. Decision error could be that they were driving illegally, they were driving too fast, they were doing illegal maneuvers. And these 2 reasons, well, the first reason makes up about 40% of the driver-related critical reason. So of that category, first one, the recognition error, makes up 40%, the next one makes up 30%. And then there's performance and non-performance. Performance would be maybe they panic or they froze, they just aren't that great at driving and did not perform properly, and this was the cause for their car accident. And then there's non-performance, where the driver did not do something they should have done. Maybe they were sleeping or they had like a heart attack. Now, to go back to driver-assisted technology, this potentially could prevent a lot of accidents because it counteracts the critical reason for a lot of accidents, which is the driver. So if the car can take more control and less control is in the hands of the driver, because the driver is the critical reason for 94% of accidents, the vehicle is only 2%. So, for example, if the driver is following too close, forward collision warning could stop, this car could stop so that they could not get into an accident, and will make the car back up, preventing a car accident that could have been caused by the driver. The driver assist features could prevent this. So my recommendation would be, in order to prevent a lot of car accidents and make the road safer for everyone on the road, would be to continue to develop these driver assist technologies, make them accessible to and available in more cars, and to continue to develop self-driving car features, to keep developing these cars until they are available for everyone, and this could make the roads a lot safer. Thank you for your time.